Hello once again, it's Director Doug here, and today, as we do often, we have the opportunity to meet one of the actors that plays a popular character here on Discovery Mountain. And today we're going to meet the actor that plays Ben Deveraux. You know, the guy that had that little exchange with Judah where they went oatmealing. And, I think perhaps oatmealing might become an Olympic sport at some point. So we'll just have to see, because it certainly was exciting. Anyway, today, Gene and Steve are going to pepper him with questions, try to find out what makes him tick behind the scenes, and see what he's like in his real life. Anyway, Gene and Steve, take it away.
Thanks, Director Doug. And thanks, Chase, for hanging out with us in the studio this morning.
Sure, no problem.
So, Chase, we got to know you, as Director Doug said, in season 2. And I remember when you came in to record for that, you had your 13th birthday during that production. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So it's been a couple years since then. So I'm glad that our listeners can have a chance to get to know the voice behind the character. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? I would ask you what your regular job is, which I know is part of your life, but tell us about what keeps you busy.
Well, mostly school during the school year, but on certain days and during the summer, I train horses, so that keeps me pretty busy whenever I'm not doing school.
Oh, that's awesome. How'd you get into doing horse training?
Well, we had a friend that gave us a horse, and so we got it to go get trained. Mm-hmm. And I was getting trained to ride at the same time because I didn't know too much. Mm-hmm. And I just ended up hitting it off with the guy that was training our horse. And so long story short, I'm working for him now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you train a horse, do you break the horse, or does it come to you already, kind of tame, or do you get it from scratch where it doesn't really accept a rider at all?
Typically, yeah, they're not tame at all, and they don't really accept riders, really. And so we'll take them from that we call as a green horse from that stage, and we'll get him to accept a saddle and then hopefully a rider. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he'll be good and you can get on him and, do whatever on him.
Wow, that's awesome.
So how often do you get flipped off while you're trying to get
Yikes.
this horse to cooperate?
I have only come off a horse 2 or 3 times, actually.
Oh, wow.
No injury stories to tell? You survived?
Nothing major. I broke a toe once, but other than that.
Owie.
Yeah, that can be painful.
Mm-hmm.
In what way are you the same or different from the character that you play?
I think I'm pretty similar to the character that I play. He seems to love the outdoors, and that's the same for me. And he also is kind of like, happy and, fun. And that's pretty similar to how I am.
Mm-hmm. Chase, and you're talking about your Ben character, which is your primary role. You've played a couple other characters in Discovery Mountain too, haven't you?
I sure have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what some of those were?
Just recently I played one of the 3 Hebrew faithfuls in the story of Daniel.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's something we love to do around here is if you're a voice actor and you have an established part and we really like working with you, sometimes when we have Bible stories, we're like, hey, do you want to play this Bible character? And I think it seems to work out well.
It does.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So, Chase, what's your favorite food?
Oh, man, I have lots of favorite foods.
That's a tough question.
It's probably a close race between pizza and sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potato casserole. Tell us more about that. That sounds good.
So sweet potato casserole is something we have at every Thanksgiving, and it's basically like a sweet potato filling type thing, and then it's got pecans and brown sugar type crumble on top, and it's really good.
That sounds delicious.
So, what's your favorite Bible verse?
Boy, there's lots of those too. One of my favorites is Daniel chapter 6 in verse 22 and 23. And it says, "My God sent his angels and shut the lion's mouth, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him. And also, O king, I have done no wrong before you." Now the king was exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no injury whatever was found on him because he believed in his God. And the reason that I like this verse is that, basically it says you could be going through, anything. You could be in a lion's den. You could be in a really hard place in your life or whatever. And if you believe in God and you rely on the promises that he has in the Bible, he can get you through absolutely anything. And so that's one of the reasons that I love it.
That's a beautiful verse and a beautiful promise. Thank you, Chase, for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
So let's think about when you were a young kid, and maybe how your dreams of what you wanted to do with your future. Maybe what were your dreams when you were young, and what are your dreams now as a junior in high school? I mean, college is just around the corner. So talk to us about that for a minute.
Well, when I was really, really young, I wanted to be an astronaut, but I think everybody wanted to do that at some point.
Seems to be a pretty universal answer, yeah, but it's a good answer.
Mm-hmm. And then I thought maybe police officer, but right now I'm leaning towards pastoral ministries.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we should just maybe mention for our listeners that listeners are familiar with your dad, Alex. They know him. He works for our ministry here, the Voice of Prophecy, and he's also the voice of Mr. Garcia.
That's right.
I have to ask you another question. What's it like, Chase? I know you have 4 little sisters, and you guys and you guys listen to Discovery Mountain at home. Your dad also voices another character. He's the voice of God. What's it like listening to your dad do the voice of God, you and your little sisters?
It's interesting. It really is interesting. And then he comes home and he's like, "You're not going to believe what I did today. I played the voice of God."
Yeah, I can just see your dad saying that to you guys, like, come on.
But it's really cool though.
Good. Awesome.
So you've mentioned you like horses. Do you have any pets?
So I do. I have 2 dogs, and then 2 cats, a bunch of chickens, a horse, and I don't know if you really can count bees as pets, but if you do, then we have a couple thousand of them.
That's
Oh, you do?
You guys
That's
keep
cool.
bees.
That's
do.
cool.
Neat.
Yeah, and that's so important as I've heard, because my youngest daughter, Naomi, you know her, she loves bees, but maybe she needs to come visit you guys out at your ranch and see the bees. But they're so important to cultivating bees because they play such an important role in our environment with helping plants to pollinate each other. And for whatever reason, there aren't as many bees as there used to be.
No.
So I think that's really cool that you guys have bees.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Chase, you keep busy, obviously, but when you do have some free time, what kind of things do you like to do?
Well, free time is a good question. What is free time? One of the things that I like doing, I love the outdoors. So anything outside. So biking or camping. I love camping, or anything like that. And then I also love during some of my free time, I like going out and passing out glow tracks and different things like that.
Mm-hmm. So you're sharing encouragement, and you're sharing your faith with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
If Discovery Mountain were a real place and you could visit, what would you most like to do?
That's a tough question. If Discovery Mountain were a real place, I think I definitely have to visit the summer camp.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of time
That's
there.
where you started off,
Right.
And then from there, I think probably Bluebirdie.
Nice. Go for a flight, and who would you want to be your pilot, Jake or Mr. Simon?
Maybe I'll just be a passenger, and one could be pilot, one could be co-pilot.
There you go.
Okay.
Good
Safety
answer.
in numbers.
Backup. That's right. You've got backup.
Yeah.
Good answer. I like that. Well, Chase, thank you so much for hanging out with us in the studio this morning. And, it's been really fun working with you. You've been a part of Discovery Mountain pretty much since actually, you have been a part of Discovery Mountain from the very beginnings, because I'm just recalling before we ever launched this program, we created a little committee with some young people on it that could give us feedback as we had some ideas. And Chase, you were a part of that committee.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you literally helped to birth Discovery Mountain. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of it and sharing your talents with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, for those of you listening, I hope that you have enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about Chase, who is the voice of Ben. And if you haven't listened to season 2, go back and listen to that because it's a great story. It's our first summer camp season. There's oatmealing, which if you don't know what that is, you have to learn what that is. And it also tells the wonderful classic Bible story of Joseph and his brothers. And the newest season that Chase was a part of, the one telling the story of Daniel. You don't want to miss that one either. And Chase shared one of his favorite Bible verses with us from Daniel chapter 6. And that closes with a reminder that Daniel experienced the things that he experienced because he believed in his God and God took care of him. So I encourage you to look up those verses and read them for yourself, Daniel 6, 22 and 23, and believe in God and keep faith in him. And we'll see you again next time.